Hey everyone, Shabby Gamer here, and welcome back to another episode of our WWE 2K16 Universe Mode. And this is our next episode of Tuesday Night Raw. Now, our next pay-per-view is going to be this one at Battleground, and it is going to be shared alongside... It looks like SmackDown, which means The Rock is going to be in he's going to be in two matches by the looks of it. So yeah, Raw and SmackDown sharing, and of course it is going to be Nitro and Thunder sharing Elimination Chamber. As I announced yesterday on Nitro, we are going to start to look to merge some of our rosters in together to try and reduce the amount of shows. Now we're coming towards the end of 2K16, so I think Battleground will be our first merging pay-per-view, using an idea that was given to me by Jay Freeman quite some time ago. And we are going to have Raw versus SmackDown at Battleground. We're going to sort of merge it all in together. Both rosters will join into the same show, but it will be Raw versus SmackDown at Battleground. The winning brand who comes out with the most victories will become the dominant brand. But we'll still be pursuing on with these feuds for now, but we'll probably finish them off in week number 4 with the championship matches and that sort of thing. And then, of course, at Battleground, we'll probably do champion versus champion as part of our pay-per-view. Enough about that, let's have a look at tonight's card. We're going to start things off with the Empire, Tangaroa and Tama Tonga taking on the Giants, Andre the Giant and the Big Show. Then we're going to see the current Raw Women's Champion, Nikki Storm, taking on Asuka. We're going to see Edge and Christian, the Tag Team Champions, taking on D'Lo Brown and Kama Mustafa. We've got Rowdy Roddy Piper taking on Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Sami Zayn takes on R-Truth. Cesaro, the European Champion, takes on Tommy End. And then our main event is going to be The Rock, the Raw Champion, taking on Goldberg. So since it is the beginning of a new month, we are just going to watch the 3 rivalry matches. So we're going to skip this one, which was a big victory for the former Tag Team Champions, the Giants. We'll also skip this one here between Nikki Storm and Asuka. A win for Asuka over the Women's Champion, Nikki Storm. Might have to give Asuka a championship match at some point then. Roddy Piper versus Steamboat. It's a win for Steamboat. And Sami Zayn versus R-Truth is a win for Sami Zayn. No surprises there. Of course, Daniel Bryan does also have that Money in the Bank briefcase. So, of course, he can use that at any point in time now. And it'd be interesting to see just when he likes to bring that one out. Of course, we will move that Money in the Bank briefcase on when they merge brands as well. So he'll still be able to use that if he wants to. I've never actually used it before. How does it work? How does it work? Can I do... There we go. Yeah, you just press on it. Do you want to cash in Daniel Bryan's Money in the Bank briefcase? Oh, that's interesting. So we're not going to do that yet. Oh, okay. Well, let's get into our first match and just completely ignore the loading screen that's in front of you. Here we go. This is our real first match of the episode. It's Edge and Christian, the current Raw Tag Team Champions, taking on D'Lo Brown and Kama Mustafa, who gained the #1 contenders a couple of days ago when they defeated the team of the Empire, Tama Tonga and Tangaroa, at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And here we go. We're in Nashville, Tennessee for this one. And we're starting things off with the Tag Team Champions, Edge and Christian. They've had these belts now for quite some time. They've been quite effective champions. Nobody so far has been able to take them away from them. But I'm sure the Nation of Domination will be hoping to be that team. Of course, Nation Domination became the #1 contenders when they won that feud against the Empire only a few days ago at our Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And now they're looking to push on and see what else they can do. See if they could become the next champions. How many champions we've had now? I think Edge and Christian are only the second champions we've had on this roster. They defeated the Giants, Andre the Giant and the Big Show, who were the first champions, who defeated the Lucha Dragons on the opening night of our Universe Mode. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Of course, the winner of this little mini feud, which will finish on week number 4, so it'll finish in 3 weeks' time, they will go into the Battleground pay-per-view to face off against the Tag Team Champions on SmackDown. Then we will obviously have the 2 brands merged into one. Will it be under the Raw name or will it be under the SmackDown name? That's going to be an interesting one. Of course, champion versus champion means that the winners will... the winners of that championship versus championship match will be the champions in the new brand, whereas the losers will walk into the new brand with nothing, effectively. So let's see what the Godfather, of course, Kama Mustafa and D'Lo Brown can do here. The interesting match, this one. It could really go either way. We saw with the feud against the Empire, Nation of Domination were very, very strong. Surprised me with how well they did, tell the truth, because Empire have got pretty decent stats backstage. I put them on pretty decent stats, so I expect them to fully win that feud, but Nation of Domination just ripped them apart, really. And now they're looking to dominate this one as well. A dominant victory here against Edge and Christian would be a big one. And a Fez press here by D'Lo Brown. Still not much information been released about WWE 2K17 at all, which is a little bit annoying. I'm hoping to try and get some more detail at some point. I want to know about the universe, want to know about the brands. And I really want to know about this new NXT mode as well, because that's the one that's worrying me a little bit. You can get the NXT Special Edition, which is going to cost a hell of a lot of extra money, about an extra 50 quid on top. And by getting that, I'm not interested in any part of that, really. Apart from actually getting Nakamura, Nia Jax, and Apollo Crews as wrestlers on the roster. And I'm going to assume that if you don't buy the Special Edition, you will still get those free. But you'll probably get them as downloadable content, which I'm happy to pay to get them as downloadable content, but I'm not going to be forced into buying a special edition just to get those extra free guys, because they should be on the game anyway. Apollo Crews has been on the main roster now since since WrestleMania mainly, but he did make appearances at Royal Rumble and things like that as well, so I can't understand why he's not a permanent member on the roster anyway. Nia Jax, been doing very well down in NXT, and of course Shinsuke Nakamura, one of the biggest and best wrestlers in the entire world, so why he's not going to be made available from day one on the normal game, I think is a little bit of a cop-out by 2K, to be blatantly honest. And it makes you wonder now as well, if Nakamura is going to be a special extra wrestler from buying the special edition, does that mean that Austin Aries is going to be on the game, or is Austin Aries not on the game? Because Austin Aries debuted in the same night as Nakamura, so is Austin Aries going to be on the game to start with? Is he not going to be on the game at all? Is he going to be part of a DLC? It's all still up in the air at the moment. With the game actually being released in about 3 months' time, I'm surprised we don't know any more detail yet. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure I like that. I like to know some stuff. I know sometimes they don't tell you a lot of gear until around about SummerSlam time. That's when they start to release the roster. That's what they've done the last couple of years anyway. So it's not different to what they've normally done. I just like to get a bit more detail ahead of time. I like to plan. I like to get ideas in my head of what we can do in the upcoming game. Christian now, great arm drag over the top. And he's going to get a chance now to tag in his tag team partner, Edge. I think he needed to make that tag. He was struggling a bit. D'Lo Brown now looking for the head wiggle. There it is. The notorious head wiggle. My favourite D'Lo Brown move. Drops into the pin here on Edge. It's not going to be enough though. He's used his signature maneuver, but he's built up all the momentum by taking out Christian. Big drop kick to the back of the head of Edge there as well by D'Lo Brown. So I'm recording this now on the Tuesday. It's going to be uploaded. I'm a little bit behind still, and the draft is coming up this evening. So this will be very interesting for me. I'm really looking forward to it. The draft is an episode I really like. I really like the concept of a draft. So I'm really interested to see what WWE do with it. I know they have said that they're going to have 6 guys from NXT. We also know the Lucha Dragons are split up. Tag teams will be drafted as tag teams rather than being split, which is a fantastic thing. AJ Styles is not part of the club. He's a separate entity, so he could end up being drafted to one brand, whereas Gallows and Anderson could end up being drafted to another, which I don't think is very wise. I think if they're going to keep AJ Styles as the heel, I think it's important to keep Gallows and Anderson with him, tell the truth. But yeah, NXT names, I'm pretty sure in my mind that NXT names will include Finn Balor, American Alpha, and Bayley. Those 4 for me are guaranteed. Now, a lot of people are leaning towards Nakamura, and whereas I would absolutely love that to be, I'm not 100% sure it will, you know. I think they'd be very smart to do it now, because I think he's still very hot in the in NXT, and people absolutely love him, and I think he'll get straight over on the main roster. He is already scheduled in for an NXT Championship match at the next TakeOver, which if he gets drafted up to the main roster would sort of ruin it, because you know he's not going to win the NXT Championship when he's up on the main roster. So I'm not 100% sure on that one. Austin Aries is also locked into a match at the next takeover as well against Cien Almas, or whatever his name is, Andrade Cien Almas. I'm sort of thinking that it could be a couple of women, you know. There's Edge in with the pin now, and D'Lo Brown only for enough for a 2 count. Yeah, because look at the list of ladies up for the draft. There's only 10 on the list, and they're going to be split into 2 separate rosters. That's going to give us like 5 on. Well, it's not actually going to give us 5 because the rules of the draft are stated that for every 2 picks that SmackDown get, Raw's going to get 3 because it's a longer show. That would mean that out of the 10 women in the draft, not including Bayley at this point in time, at the 10 women in the draft, 6 will end up on Raw and 4 will end up on SmackDown. 4 is not enough for a women's roster on SmackDown. Even if they had 5 and Bayley went to SmackDown, I still don't think that's going to be enough. So I'm expecting more than just Bayley to come up from the women's division. I'm expecting 2 women at least, or maybe even 3. I can see Bayley, maybe Nia Jax, and maybe Alexa Bliss, possibly. I don't think they're going to bring up too many big names at once because it would sort of everyone would just sort of blend in, if that makes sense. I think there'd be I think they'll probably use some people just to help bolster up the size of the roster rather than potentially being top guys. If they were to bring up Nakamura, Austin Aries, Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, American Alpha, for example, those 6 all at the same time, then it might just be a bit too much at once, and I just can't see it happening. But I don't know, I might be wrong. We're going to find out in a few hours' time, obviously. And I can't wait for that. It's going to be pretty incredible. As Nation of Domination almost picking up the victory there once again. It's becoming very, very close now. Edge with a short DDT. And now stomping on the grounded D'Lo. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Who do you think from NXT is going to move up to the main roster? Be interesting to see, because obviously I'm just going by what I think, and obviously what I think is not necessarily always truthful. So let me know what you think. I would love to see, don't get me wrong, I would love to see the big names all move up. But I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Ty Dillinger maybe, or if we saw a Nia Jax, or even, don't slate me for this, but I would not be surprised if we saw somebody draft Eve Marie. And I know that is a terrible thing to say, but it would not surprise me. And I'm wondering as well whether there's any potential for surprise entries into the draft as well. I know WWE have released a list of names that are going to be involved in the draft, but you just wonder whether MVP, Carlito, RVD, people like that could be drafted just as a surprise, just to help bolster up the roster. There was rumours beforehand that WWE were looking for established wrestlers to come back and help bolster up the roster for when they do this draft, and it's a possibility that we could see a surprise entry or 2. There's the pin by Kyle Mustafa on Christian, only enough for a 2 count. Mustafa comes across and he does make the tag. In comes D'Lo Brown, the master of the head wiggle. Catches Christian up onto the shoulder. Great tornado cutter there by D'Lo Brown. Christian is down, in for the pin. Drops D'Lo. 1, 2... Oh, and it's a close one. Edge obviously seems confident in his tag team partner. They didn't even come in the ring to try and break that one up. Great spinning heel kick there by Christian. Now bringing D'Lo back up to his feet. And a reverse DDT. Scorpion death drop, if you will. In for the pin. Drops Christian once again. And again, it's only enough for a 2 count. This tag team match is really going the length here. Both these teams desperate to pick up the first victory in this feud. So I think we're going to very much treat episode number 4 this week, this month, shall I say, as our pay-per-view. It'll be like a Raw-only pay-per-view, really. We'll have all the championships defended on that show. We'll also... Bloody sirens. I don't know what it's been. The last few videos have just been... nothing but sirens I've been recording. Yeah, and I think that obviously that we're now going to have all the championships defended. It's going to be a pretty good show, and then obviously we'll move on to that big Raw versus SmackDown draft. Christian with a kill switch, but it's right next to the corner of Kyle Mustafa, who straightway is in to break it up. Edge now sending Mustafa over the top rope, and if Christian can drop into another pin here, he might be able to pull this one off, dropping a knee into the face of D'Lo Brown. Mustafa's down on the outside. Christian bringing D'Lo Brown back up to his feet. And now, that's one thing that I miss from 2K15 is that when Christian would use his finisher like that, Edge would come into the ring, launch himself across the ring and take Khan Mustafa off the apron. I think that's something that, for some reason, they seem to have taken away from the game, and I thought that was a very good thing in the game, because it sort of made the finishes look a little bit more realistic. There's the sit-out powerbomb there by D'Lo Brown. Khan Mustafa takes out Edge, but still Christian had just enough to kick out on the brink of a 3 count. D'Lo dropping Christian over the top rope, snake eyes. D'Lo looking, he's struggling a little bit here. Clubbing blow against the back of Christian, who's back up on his feet, and D'Lo catches him with that forearm, and another one, and a third, locking him into the corner of the Nation. Looking for a little bit of a tag team maneuver here, but looks like D'Lo's been busted open pretty heavily now. Dropping Christian flat on his back from height. Now can Khan Mustafa finish this one off as Christian brought back up to his feet. Edge is in the outside, tracking D'Lo Brown down, and Edge just taking D'Lo Brown out from behind with that backdrop. And this is a great chance now for one of the two guys in the ring to win this match as their tag team partners are fighting on the outside. Mustafa now bringing Christian back up to his feet. Oh, great back heel kick. In for the pin, he drops. 1, 2, and 3. And what a very poor AI ending to that match. That was pretty bad, really, wasn't it? Edge slowly made his way into the ring as D'Lo Brown stood there and stared at Edge. And what on earth is going on here? Okay. Okay, indeed. I've completely got this wrong, haven't I? I've completely buggered this one up. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Let's have a look in my book. Let us have a look in my book at what actually happened. It's been a while since I recorded the last episode of Raw, so I think I may have actually screwed this one up, haven't I? Okay. No. Well, that's handy. I may have been wrong. It looks like I've completely got this wrong. Tama Tonga and Tangaroa won the #1 contendership match. And here they are making that challenge to Edge and Christian now, who have just lost against the Nation of Domination. Let's have a quick look at the rivalry update. That should probably clear us in a bit more light, hopefully. Yes, title challenge. Tama Tonga and Tangaroa have stepped up their challenge to the champions Edge and Christian. My mind just went completely blank there because the rivalry match was set up between the Nation of Domination and Edge and Christian. My mind's gone completely blank. Sorry, yes, it is. It is Tama Tonga and Tangaroa, the #1 contenders. Edge and Christian did have some hot streaks and some momentum boosts. Both of those have gone. Well, no, the hot streaks are gone. The momentum boosts are still there. D'Lo Brown and Khan Mustafa, because of that victory, have now picked up themselves a hot streak, so they'll be happy with that. But it looks like we are leading towards Edge and Christian versus the Empire for the Tag Team Championships on week number 4 of this month. And here we go into match number 2 of the episode. It is going to be the European champion Cesaro taking on the Dutch wrestler Tommy End, who has now, I don't think it's official as such, but heavily rumoured to have signed with the WWE, and he will be joining them in the August or September set of signings, I believe. So yeah, really, really happy about that. One of my favourite wrestlers in the world, and we're all going to get to see just how incredible he is. And here we go. Cesaro, the Swiss Superman, has been absolutely incredible with that European Championship. Held on to it quite some time. And I'm sure Tommy End will be someone who's very much looking to take that away from him. Tommy End's incredible. I love Tommy End, I really do. I think he's so good. He does a lot of kickboxing and stuff like that as well. So some of his kicks are absolutely incredible. I've seen him almost knock a guy unconscious before in a Southside wrestling event. It was incredible. The guy was completely out of him. One of my favourite matches I've ever seen live. I'll have to dig it out at some point. I do have it on DVD as well. Was Southside Wrestling. It was Tommy End versus Davey Richards. And my God, was it a hell of a match. The kicks, two of them were just fantastic kicks. It was such a violent and vicious match as well. It was absolutely incredible. I really, really enjoyed that. And here comes the man, Tommy End. Such a great created wrestler this year. People had struggled in the past with creating guys like Tommy End, but I think this year, especially with the face scans, the created wrestlers have become so much better. And of course, Tommy End is one half of a tag team here on the Raw brand, known as the Sumerian Death Squad, alongside Michael Dante. And let's see what he can do here this evening against the Swiss Superman that is Cesaro. So we've got a bit of Switzerland versus Holland, a full European battle here. Let's see which of the nations come out on top. That is someone else I thought that could be drafted this evening. So my mind's just gone back to NXT guys getting drafted. Someone that I've got a very strong feeling that will be drafted tonight is going to be, you're going to hate me for this one as well, Mojo Rawley. I just think that Mojo Rawley is definitely going to come up to the main roster. I've been thinking it for a while now. I can't believe I forgot about that one. But he's obviously in a tag team alongside Zack Ryder in NXT. They're not a fantastic tag team, but they'll fill a spot on the main roster. And I suppose it could be, but Zack's obviously going for a singles championship at Battleground, so maybe I might be wrong. With Zack going for that singles championship, maybe I could be wrong. But you never know. Maybe Mojo Rawley could be at ringside for that one. And I'm thinking with the draft as well, if Bayley does come up, which let's just say is definitely going to happen. If Bayley does come up, which I'm very sure of, she could end up being the... the tag team partner to Sasha Banks in that match against Charlotte and Dana Brooke. I think that would probably be about right. It just makes sense to me. Obviously, Becky Lynch is already tied up, and with the Natalya feud, I don't know any other women that would probably come out. But with the history that Bayley, Sasha Banks, and Charlotte have got, it just sort of makes a bit more sense to me to have that happen. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Be interesting to see how. I'm really looking forward to it. The draft night is something that I've always really enjoyed. I must admit, I annoyed myself now because I sort of stopped watching wrestling when the draft originally happened. I sort of went off it at about sort of 2004, 2005, 2006 sort of time. I sort of got a bit bored of it, mainly when JBL became a main eventer because I can't stand him. So I sort of went off it a little bit, and I came back, and as soon as I came back to wrestling was just when they got rid of the draft and they went to the Raw Super Show and basically the SmackDown backup show as it was. So yeah, it'd be nice to get it back. I never really watched a lot of it last time, and I'm thinking it's going to be so good now. It's going to give so many opportunities to up-and-coming wrestlers, and it's going to make things a lot more interesting. It's going to make things a lot more watchable as well. Because at the moment, a lot of people, not just myself, are getting very frustrated with watching Roman Reigns dominating Raw, and then a few days later watching Roman Reigns storylines dominating SmackDown, and then a few days later watching him dominate a pay-per-view, and the next night coming back out on Raw, and it just gets a little bit boring. But now at least we know that if there's somebody that we don't like or somebody that we're bored of watching, at least we know they're only going to be on one show. But one of the main things, great kick there by Tommy End, one of the main things I really like about the draft split is something that I've mentioned quite a long time ago. They're going to have two separate writing teams. This is going to add a lot more competition to the writing teams to put out the best show possible. And I think that's going to be a good thing, because the last few years, I think it's quite easy to say that WWE have been coasting. They've got no real competition, and they've just got away with booking some absolute terrible, terrible stuff. So by having two separate writing teams both competing for ratings, essentially, I should imagine there'd be some sort of bonus in there for getting the better show. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we get much better content coming out from both Raw and SmackDown. Big kicks in the chest there by Tommy End, and a big roundhouse one, knocking Cesaro clean. But has he knocked him clean out? There's the pin by Tommy End. 1, 2. No, it's only enough for a 2 count. Tommy End can't believe it. Both guys slowly back up to their feet. Cesaro looking a little bit shaken. You can understand why. Tommy End, Northern Light suplex, decides not to bridge and pin, but he is going to go up top, and he does like to utilise the double foot stomp. Are we going to see it here today? It looks like we could be. There it is, the big double foot stomp to the gut of Cesaro. Tommy End, this will be a massive victory for him. 1, 2, and no, Cesaro kicked out on the brink of 3. Wow. Wow, that is interesting. That is very interesting. Tommy End now sending Cesaro into the corner. So I'm confused. I've just seen on my Twitter just pop up. Summer Rae's just said, where will I end up on Raw or SmackDown? I thought Summer Rae had been released. I must be completely wrong, unless she just put that on there to try and get her job back. I don't know, but I thought she'd gone. I must admit. That's confused me, that has now. Tommy End now just stalking the ground as Cesaro brings him back up to his feet. Russian leg sweep by Cesaro, they're reversing him. Dragging Tommy End back up to his feet, but then catches him with that uppercut. Into a snapmare. So I'm a little bit confused how the draft's going to work this evening then, because it's saying in America there's a SmackDown pre-show at 7 till 8. The draft is on from 8 till 10, and then there's a post-show from 10 to 11. But on the network it says there's going to be Draft Central. So does that mean that there's going to be a separate draft program going on the same time as SmackDown? It's a possibility. Big European uppercut there by Cesaro. That could be enough to... As the referee spanks the back of Cesaro's ankle while he counts that one. Cesaro with the overhand. Tommy End catches him though. Hooks the leg. Fisherman suplex. Does bridge in for the pin. If Cesaro just stretches his bottom leg out, he... Oh, God, that was only a 2. I thought he had him then. Tommy End now taking Cesaro down with a Pele kick. And now looking to go up top again. If he hits another double foot stomp, there's no way Cesaro can get back up, surely. Oh, and Cesaro catches Tommy End with that European uppercut, and Tommy End almost just... He just flopped. I think he may have been out there for a split second, but because of the dodgy landing, Tommy End ended very, very close to the ropes and was able to grab a rope break. Cesaro now hoisting Tommy End up onto that top turnbuckle. Taking the legs of End over the top. What is Cesaro looking for? Is he going to go for that super gut wrench maybe? No, a super butterfly suplex is lined up. And he hits it perfectly. Super butterfly suplex. Lots of S's in there. And Tommy End looks down and out. Cesaro just needs to pin him for the win. No, Cesaro's not finished. Bringing Tommy End back up to his feet. I don't know why Cesaro just didn't go for the pin there. You'd think after a high impact move after that, you'd definitely go for the pin. It looks like Cesaro may be going for another one. He's taken Tommy End up onto that top rope. And again, just taking the legs over. Come on, really? Cesaro, you could have pinned him after the last one, surely. This is just a bit overkill. And another super butterfly suplex. Now, surely Cesaro's got to... Why are you not pinning him for, Cesaro? Cesaro may have a problem here now. He probably should have pinned him while he had the chance. Tommy End, Shining Wizard. End bringing Cesaro back up to his feet. Cesaro with the snapmare. Now just wrenching back at the arm there, Cesaro. I'm surprised we haven't had a winner of this one yet. It's really, the matches have been going on for quite some time. End back up to his feet. Big right hand to the gut of Cesaro. Cesaro now snap suplex on Tommy End. Cesaro now bringing Tommy End back up to his seated position there, kick in the back. And now Cesaro just hoisting Tommy End up, and there's the gut wrench suplex, rolls the hips into another one. And a second, now looking for the third. And there is the third by Cesaro. Now surely, come on Cesaro, you've just got to pin him. 1, 2, and 3, and finally enough for Cesaro to take Tommy End down. But my word, Tommy End has had an incredible match here. And I think he's definitely still going to deserve a European Championship shot in the future. Now, despite that it's been popped up, I know it's not, I suppose, not technically spoilers now, is it really? But Raw was on last night, and it was announced by Stephanie McMahon that it is going to be a new Cruiserweight division. There's been an update. I don't know who they're going to use. It's believed... okay. It's believed that the Cruiserweight finale to crown the new Cruiserweight champion. Interesting. They're copying my ideas. They've not signed any new talents that are official, but they expect to sign people on full-term deals. It's reported over the weekend that WWE signed deals for Ibushi and Metallic. They're also looking at other talents such as Zack Sabre Jr., Lindsay Dorado, Jack Gallagher, Akira Tozawa, and Cedric Alexander. And they may use some veteran Cruiserweight talents to help bolster up the roster as well. So that's interesting. So they're now saying that the winner of the Cruiserweight Championship, the Cruiserweight Classic, whatever it's called now, could become the first Cruiserweight champion, which is, again, using our format that we've come up with here, isn't it, really? I mean, it's pretty cool to think that they're using our ideas, though, isn't it, I suppose? So, yeah, great win here for Cesaro, the European champion. Another dominant performance by him. But at the same time, Tommy End really showed some great fortitude, and I'm looking forward to seeing these two guys in the ring once again. And here's the rivalry update. As you can see, Cesaro gained himself a momentum boost as well as an extra hot streak as well, so he's looking pretty strong. Tommy End got no bonuses at the moment, but it was still a pretty close match, and I'm looking forward to seeing the two guys in the ring again, hopefully next week. And here is our main event this evening. The Rock, the Raw Champion, takes on Goldberg. And here we go as my chair decides to get... The problem is it's so bloody hot today. I'm recording this on the hottest day of the year, and I'm sat in a bloody leather chair. It's killing me. So there is The Rock. Successfully defended that championship against Roman Reigns only a few days ago. And now here he is straight away in a match against Goldberg. That's not a great situation to be in, is it really? I think he really would have wanted a little bit more of a rest, but there you go. So yeah, if that is going to be the case with the Cruiserweight division, and the first Cruiserweight champion is going to be the winner of the Cruiserweight Classic, which would be pretty cool. That's quite interesting, that is. I'm quite interested in that. The only thing is that when you turn around and say, oh yeah, the Cruiserweight division's coming back, but it's not going to come back for like 10 weeks because of the Cruiserweight Classic, then that annoys me a little bit. I'd like to see it come back straight away, but I suppose they could bring back the division and then bring in the championship a little bit later on. They've got guys, like I've said on many occasions before, they have got guys that can work that division. You've got obviously Sin Cara and Kalisto, which obviously now probably makes a little bit more sense why they've been split up. There's a lot of guys. You've got guys like Heath Slater, I suppose. You've got guys like depends if you look at the weight limits as well, because if you look at the Cruiserweight Classic, some of those people on there you wouldn't expect to be cruiserweights, would you really? Like Tommaso Ciampa doesn't not really expect Tommaso Ciampa to be a cruiserweight, and they're saying like that 205 pounds or something like that is when you become a cruiserweight, but I'm not more than that, and I'm about 220 pounds, I think. So I'm 15 pounds over. I'm only about a stone over, and I don't class myself as anywhere near a cruiserweight at all. If anything, I'm a super heavyweight. But yeah, I know. Obviously, muscle weights. These guys are all very toned. They weigh a lot more, but it's interesting to see who they would class as a cruiserweight, I suppose. Because we've classed guys like Hideo Itami, Tyson Kidd, Finn Balor, AJ Styles, Tyler Breeze. We've classed all those guys as cruiserweights, which they could do quite happily as well. Like if Tyler Breeze got drafted over to over to Raw, then I would imagine him to be part of the cruiserweight division, and then that would give Tyler Breeze a home, something to do, because at the moment he's a little bit lost. And even Fandango could end up being a cruiserweight wrestler. No reason why not. I think he probably comes underneath the weight limit. And with rumours, like I've said, that they've signed up Grand Metalik and they've signed up Kota Ibushi from the first episode, then it wouldn't surprise me if there's going to be a few more, a big influx. But it all depends on whether they're going to influx them all onto the main roster or whether they look to bring them in slowly. One thing that Lords of Pain did mention was potentially of having some established cruiserweight names come back to help bolster the roster in the form of, for example, Tajiri, Brian Kendrick, maybe even someone like Paul London could come back as well. I know he's still wrestling, he's been out and about. I think he's over in Lucha Underground as well at the moment. But it's a little bit annoying because you look at the last year or so and you think to yourself, you've let Justin Gabriel go, who would be perfect for the cruiserweights. You've let Cody Rhodes and Damien Sandow go, who would have been perfect for this draft split, to really add some great talent to the upper mid-card and maybe even championship divisions of your roster. So it's a little bit annoying with some of the people that you have seen leave of recent. Don't get me wrong, some of the people we've seen leave very warranted to leave. I'm glad Hornswoggle left because we don't want any more of this bloody was it anonymous general manager? That's what I was saying earlier about the whole poor storylines, and that whole anonymous general manager thing was just an absolute disgrace, really. The whole thing was just awful. But there you go. As Goldberg taking a dominant early lead here against The Rock, using his strength to great advantage, but The Rock using his speed there to return the favour and just wrenching the arm of Goldberg back. And that's a clever move by The Rock. He knows that Goldberg likes to utilise the spear and the jackhammer. Both of those moves are going to be a little bit less dangerous with a damaged arm. Rock now, great move there. Sort of started in a suplex and ended in a hip toss. Very good move. Now Rock just bringing Goldberg back up to his feet. There's the front chanter and a big knee to the face as well. And all of a sudden, The Rock is looking pretty dominant here. As he should be, I suppose. He is the current Raw champion, so he should be looking pretty good. Goldberg taking Rock up. He's not looking for a jackhammer already. No, he does go for the vertical suplex, though. Holding The Rock up there. Letting him think about it for a few seconds. Letting all the blood rush to his head. Now a reverse suplex as well by Goldberg. Rock is down. Both guys back up to their feet. Rock, a reverse atomic drop on Goldberg. And now Rock is looking very good here. Of course, he should be. He is the champion. He has been the champion for quite some time now. And obviously with all these championship defenses, he's building up a lot of momentum, which is making him stronger and stronger and stronger. Rock now took Goldberg up, but Goldberg slides free into a spiked DDT on The Rock. Vicious move there. Rock catching Goldberg, then a front chanter. He pulls him away from the ropes. tripping Goldberg and dropping a knee into the inside of the knee of Goldberg. A vicious, vicious move. And again, taking out the legs of Goldberg is a wise move. The guy uses a lot of upper body strength, and if your legs are damaged, then upper body strength is not going to be very good for you. You'll just crumple at the base. Rock now had Goldberg had Rock by the throat, hoist him up into a good air press and finishes it into a big spine buster. There's the pin. 1, 2. It's a big move, but it's not quite enough to finish off the Rock. Goldberg now sending Rock over the top, crashing to the ground below. Goldberg now doing the damage on the outside. Clever move if he wants to go forward and potentially take this championship off the Rock. Damaging his body could be a very wise way of doing it, because you're just going to weaken him up for the next time you collide in the ring. Rock, though, returning the favour, sending Goldberg straight into the ring steps. Both guys back in the ring as referee insists. He got high enough on the count. Big front slam there by Goldberg, in for the pin. 1, 2. It's only enough for a 2 count, but Goldberg's looking pretty good. Goldberg now hands on hips, trying to think about what he can do next to inflict more damage onto the Rock. That big overhand punch is a good start. Oh, and just throwing the Rock into the ropes. Now that's a lot painful than it looks, you know. There's ropes, they're not sprung, they're woven steel. They have a little bit of bounce to them, but it's not a lot at all. And now Rock looks to be in trouble here. Goldberg takes him up. There's the march into a jackhammer. This could be enough to finish this match off. 1, 2, and 3. Goldberg has just pinned the Raw champion, The Rock, one-on-one here. Rock looked dominant at points, but Goldberg, what a fantastic result for him. That's enforced him very much as the #1 contender for this Raw championship, and already getting a victory over the champion is pretty damn good, I must say. You see the kick to the back there by Goldberg, bringing the Rock back up to his feet, and this is where he caught him in that gorilla press and dropped him into that spine buster. I love that move. It's a really good move, that one. In for the pin he went. Wasn't enough to keep the Rock down for a 3 count this time, though. The fight went to the outside. You see both guys sliding back in as the referee's count got too high. And again, Goldberg just catching Rock with that big front slam. The world's strongest slam-like. In for the pin, but again, it was only enough for a 2 count at the time. But then Goldberg, hand on his hips at the time, trying to decide what to do. And this is what he went for. And my word, was it effective. Taking the Rock up. A little bit of a march, then dropping him down into a jackhammer. And there's the pin for the 1, the 2, and the 3 count. So a great win here for Goldberg. Enforced himself now as the #1 contender with a pinfall victory over the Raw champion. And it looks like at week number 4 of this month, Goldberg versus The Rock is going to be locked in. And then, of course, like I said before, Battleground is going to be Raw versus SmackDown. One of the 2 brands will be absolved into the other one. And we're going to end up with just 3 brands from there on. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. That's going to be in 4 weeks' time. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Of course, if you have, then please do hit that like button. It does really help me out. And of course, if you are new around here, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well for a lot more of the WWE 2K16 Universe mode. I've been Shabby Gamer. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.